It's a homecoming today on CTV. Jamie Salé and David Pelche back on the ice in competition. And Jamie back home where her Olympic dreams began.
It's neat that I still feel that Red Deer is my home, even though I've only got my brother left in Red Deer. But my coach is obviously still there teaching. And it's very special for me because this is where my roots are, and this is where I started skating, and I became, you know, who I am.
And who she is an Olympic champion. Jamie Salé and David Pelche return to competition for the first time since the Olympics. While reigning Olympic and world champion Alexei Yagudin is back on the ice after battling a hip injury. American Sasha Cohen has had a successful start to her season. She's ready to go this weekend as well. And so is Takeshi Honda, armed with his quad jumps. The stage is set for the 2002 Sears Open on CTV. Welcome to skating fans from coast to coast. We're in Western Canada for the 2002 Sears Figure Skating Open. So Jamie and David are here, and look who else is here as well. Alexei Yagudin. Just a few short weeks ago, this guy felt his career may be over due to a serious hip injury, but the good news for everybody is the Russian gladiator is back on the blades and ready to compete here this weekend. And hi, everybody. Welcome to Red Deer and the Sears Open on CTV. I'm Dave Randorf. 3 hours straight ahead for you on the network. 2 more hours tonight during prime time for the long program as the international stars of the sport are back in Alberta for the first time since 1996. That's when the Worlds were held just up the road in Edmonton. And when I say the stars, I mean stars. There's some big names here this weekend ready to compete. 5 former world medalists and, of course, 2 reigning Olympic gold medalists as well. The short program is straight ahead for you this afternoon, but we also have some one-on-one interviews we're going to share with you this afternoon as well. We're going to sit down with Alberta's own Kurt Browning, the up-and-coming star in the American women's figure skating scene, Sasha Cohen, and Debbie Wilkes will sit down with Jamie and David and find out what they've been doing all summer after the storm in Salt Lake City. It's a super Saturday of skating on CTV, and we are certainly glad to have you with us. For more on what you'll see over the next 3 hours, let's take you upstairs now and join Rod Black and Debbie Wilkes.
Thank you, Dave, and season's greetings, everybody. Nice to be back in Red Deer, back in central Alberta, where the last time an event of this kind was held was Skate Canada back in 1994, and now the pros and the amateurs, if you can call them amateurs, are back for the Sears Open.
It's really about eligible and ineligible skaters. We will see both in the competition this weekend. I think what's so exciting is we're seeing a kind of a different format. It's the short program for today's competition. Generally speaking, the 2 minutes and 40 seconds, although they have allowed, for the sake of the ineligible skaters, to turn that up to 3 minutes. That will be worth 1/3 of the total mark. In addition, the skaters will have to compete in an interpretive program between 3.5 and 4.5 minutes. Pretty much anything. Freedom is the name of the game. That's worth 2/3 of the total mark. And no dancing here, though.
No dancing, and that's to come, the interpretive, later tonight. The big story, though, is Jamie Salé and David Pelche. Jamie returning to her hometown, but really Salé and Pelche returning to competitive ice.
Well, we've had a lot of questions. There's been a lot written about it, whether they had missed opportunities and therefore missed a lot of money. They're going to set the record straight with me and the rest of the fans as well. It's exciting to see them back. They are tuned, they are primed, and they are looking every bit like Olympic champions.
A couple of other questions. Alexei Yagudin, who's been injured, is he going to continue skating during this competitive season? He's here tonight. What kind of Alexei Yagudin will we see? We're also going to renew this new season, I guess you can call it a bit of a grudge match between young Sasha Cohen and Victoria Volchkova.
Yes, Sasha coming off of 2 wins on the Grand Prix Series, Skate Canada and Lalique, and surprisingly a second place behind Volchkova at the Cup of Russia. So they are back on the ice here today, and I sense a little something edgy going on out there, no pun intended.
Well, good energy in the building as well, a sold-out building for this afternoon skate, and here's the order of skate. We begin with the women, the short program: Sasha Cohen, Jennifer Robinson, Angela Nikodinov, Victoria Volchkova, Jennifer Kirk. 3 Americans in the field. Everybody, of course, this season talking about young Sasha.
And here are the required elements. Again, up to 3 minutes to perform these 8 required elements. Doubles and triples on the plan. Jump combination, flying spin, a layback spin for the women, a combination spin as well, a wonderful spiral step sequence, and a second step sequence of the skater's choice.
Here is the skater they are talking about in the same way they talked about Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski and Kristi Yamaguchi. In other words, an American phenom already.
Sasha Cohen has come on the scene this year with an unbelievable string of successes. She's only 18 years of age, moved from the West Coast, where she has lived all her life and trained there, moved to Simsbury, Connecticut, to Tatiana Tarasova this past summer, and it has been a dynamite combination. Looking for the U.S. Nationals, of course, and the Kwan throne.
It won't come easy, though. It's not a gimme, including the skaters that are here tonight, some of the Americans that will be competing against her. Canada does not have the lineage right now that the Americans have, but this is the Jennifer Robinson era, 5-time Canadian women's champion.
And with all the tricks to make it into the top 5 in the world, it has been a bit of a struggle for her. However, as far as consistency is concerned, she's been working on the flexibility that has made such a mark for skaters like Kwan and Cohen, but capable of doing all the triples.
And capable of great fight. She showed it in Nagano at the World Championships. It looked for a while pretty bleak that Canada would only send 1 woman to this year's Worlds, this season's Worlds, and Jennifer leapt 5 places, and Canada will send 2 women. Here's Angela Nikodinov of the United States.
Now training with the famous American coach Frank Carroll, who was seen there at the side. We have not seen her during the Grand Prix Series this fall. She has been out with a shoulder injury and illness. First time back, she's looking very strong here. When it comes to jumping technique, however, Frank Carroll says she's still a little tentative, worried about putting that shoulder out should there be a fall.
Angela Nikodinov, who when she first burst on the scene, I think some people felt with the name that she might have been a Russian. In fact, was an American, and the Russian in the field here is Victoria Volchkova, who I think many people may have prematurely dubbed the next Russian queen a few years ago during this era of Arina Slutskaya, Maria Butrskaya, but she's coming off a huge win over Sasha Cohen.
And over Irina Slutskaya at Cup of Russia. An amazing technician. You will not believe the jumps. Probably the best I have ever seen. Where she fails is a little bit in the interpretive end of things. She has moved to the States to train in Chicago, and has made huge strides this year. I think we're going to see a lot of her, and that win at Cup of Russia is going to make all the difference in the world to her attitude on the ice.
Maybe one of the best jumpers right now in the world, Victoria Volchkova, and the final competitor is Jennifer Kirk of the United States.
A wonderful young member of that illustrious U.S. team.
They're loaded with skaters.
Where do they come from? Where do they come from? Jenny is now training with Richard Callahan, and also made a big move. Had formerly been with Evie and Mary Scottfold. Now, since her mom died in the summer of 2001, she is being cared for by her older sister, who lives with her and does everything that her mom used to do. Quite an amazing young woman, also strong.
5 amazing young women coming up next at the Sears Figure Skating Open on CTV. Alberta is Sasha Cohen. A couple of gold medals already on the Grand Prix circuit. Skate Canada, Lalique, a second place at Cup of Russia. Many might think that she would be skating's Destiny's Child, the new one out there.
The short program is her forte, in my opinion. This is to music called Malagueña, which until she came along should have been on the band music list. She has brought new life to it. Watch this. Opening with the triple Lutz double toe combination. Very good.
Just 18 from California. This is a young skater who sells the program.
Loves music, loves the beat, loves the performance. Triple flip as her solo jump. Oh, just the position. Such stretch, such control. One of her best elements, the layback spin. Perfectly arched, high free leg. Getting up speed for the spiral sequence. Exquisite position. Stretch to the max. Still maintaining flow and ice coverage. Wow. Now this is her straight line step sequence. She did not come to the very end of the boards. There may be a deduct. The skaters should use the full ice surface, and that means end to end.
Regardless, that is going to be very difficult to beat in round one here.
What a way to start.
Oh, my. Oh, wow.
Nothing is going to stop this one. Sasha Cohen has a world and Olympic title on her mind.
Sasha Cohen of the United States, and up next, Canada's champion Jennifer Robinson at the Sears Figure Skating Open. Along with coach Tatiana Tarasova, there's Sasha Cohen. Her marks coming up. This is the old system, if we can call it that, from last season. Of course, the interim system being used before the new system is implemented in skating. Tatiana Tarasova has been in the news the last couple of days, too.
Apparently, there is some question about whether there has been a split, amicable or otherwise, between her and Shaylin Bourne and Victor Kratz. We'll try to find more out about that. Sasha had a great program, though. She began very strongly with that difficult triple Lutz double toe combination. Bit of a hesitation going in, a bit of a change of edge. It should be a very clean and sure back outside edge, a slight flip over to the inside, but I think it's here where she's going to lose a deduct. She did not start the footwork section close to the boards. Starting, I would say, gee, a good 25 or 30 feet from the end, but it was right here where she varied from the straight line step sequence and made a little kind of twisted edge that took her further to the side of the rink. The judges, believe it or not, are looking at all of those details, so she could take up to a 0.4 deduction on the first mark.
Great skate, not quite as strong as Quebec City at Skate Canada, where she opened brilliantly and then had a blip in the free skate. Keep in mind, judges are also leaving some room here for the four skaters still to skate. 5.5's a little low, 5.7's from Germany, the United States, Poland, and Canada.
Don't get yourself bent out of shape about the low marks. It could be a deduction. The judges, if that is the winning performance, that 5.7 of, say, judge number one, will still be the highest mark of the day.
Our next competitor from Canada, Jennifer Robinson.
Crowd favorite, Jennifer Robinson. And it was back in 1994 at Skate Canada, where Jen Robinson skated here at Red Deer and finished in 6th place. And now back a few years later with 5 Canadian titles.
This is also her competitive short program, choreographed by Lori Nickel. Constructed in an unusual way, a lot of skaters put the most difficult elements first, getting them out of the way. For instance, the combination. Jen and Lori decided to be a little different and make it harder, in fact, by making the elements more difficult as they go along. The individual jump must have footwork leading into it. There should be no hesitation. Jen's triple flip. Now gaining speed for the combination. Triple Lutz double toe. Same kind of problem as at Skate Canada. Both jumps quite poor.
Jennifer Robinson, back in Red Deer, 8 years ago at Skate Canada, 2002 at the Sears Figure Skating Open. Very well-liked skater in Canada, not only because of her success, but also the way she's handled herself over the years. A great ambassador for this sport.
And she has very publicly gone through her ups and downs, which is always really tough, and they're always about these jumps. The footwork is wonderful into the triple flip, but I don't think the jump had the required rotations. Let's watch. Picks in with the right toe up in the air. Boy, I'd say it's quite iffy. She could take a deduct on that, but she's going to take a big one here on the triple Lutz combination. A real long hold going in, which is not something that a confident jumper will do. A tap down with the foot on the landing of the triple Lutz, and a really incomplete double toe, which is considered a very easy jump.
The veteran in the field at 25. A couple of fourth-place finishes on the Grand Prix circuit means she will not go to the Grand Prix final unless there are a couple of withdrawals. Finished 4th at Skate Canada, 4th at Bofrost, Germany. Presentation marks better than the required elements. Put Robinson back of Sasha Cohen. We'll see Jennifer Robinson, of course, at the National Championships in Saskatoon in the new year.
Representing the United States, Angela Nikodinov.
Angela Nikodinov of the United States. Last year was kind of a lost year for Angela. 4th at the United States Nationals, but did not have a chance to go to the World Championships, where she finished 5th the season before. Injury problems. Also lost her longtime coach.
She had a wonderful relationship with her coach, Elena Cherkaskaya, who died of cancer. And Angela has just been struggling ever since. She does not have the kind of profile that some of the other American women have, but I do think she has the complete package. Powerful jumper. There. Good try on the triple Lutz. Free leg went wacky on the landing and pulled her right off the edge. Doubled a planned triple flip. There is no deduct for that, however, in Pro-Ams. The women, any of the competitors, are allowed to do a double as opposed to a triple, as long as it's a good one.
This is a little different this season at the Sears Open. Usually we talk about, in the women's ranks, how the short program favors the eligible skaters and the free skate, you know, really helps the pros. Well, all of these skaters are eligible skaters.
An unusual situation for sure for a Pro-Am. This is not the skater we were seeing on practice. The loss of the combination jump has completely put her off of the game. We look at all these wonderful skaters and imagine that they don't have a nerve in their body. But believe me, every one of them feels the anxiety of waiting for their name to be called, waiting backstage. And for someone like Angela, who has been at the top of her game, to not have competed for such a long time is tough.
Yeah, not competing this season, pulling out of a couple of competitions. So this is her first real test. She'll look for better later tonight in the interpretive free. Her marks when we come back to Red Deer, Alberta, after this. It is a sport of nerves, also a sport of repetition and competition, being game ready. And I guess this is also for Angela Nikodinov a chance to get ready for the U.S. Nationals right now. She hasn't had much game time.
Well, you could see it too right from the beginning. The first combination, the free leg on the landing of the triple Lutz went sideways instead of backward, throwing her right off the edge. She is also a beautiful spinner. She doesn't guck stuff up, which I love. Beautiful, pure positions, well centered, nice and fast, clear and lovely. A lot of work done with ballet instructors, and you can see that the use of full movement with the body, arms and hands are lovely. Frank Carroll has made a big difference for her, I think, and we'll see that in the rest of this season. He settles her down. He's very realistic about what her accomplishments can be. Understands she has all the goods. She just needs to believe in herself.
Frank Carroll's gone through quite an odyssey himself in the coaching ranks the last year or so.
Well, the longtime coach of Michelle Quant, she left him to go solo, actually. No coach.
5-6.
Nikodinov
5-6.
will be in third place. Required elements marks, expect presentation marks to be higher. They are. Angela Nikodinov third, Robinson second, Sasha Cohen the leader. Two skaters in the women's short program still to come, including Victoria Volchkova of Russia. Coming off a big win, and this is someone who has not had a lot of high points so far in what is still a pretty young career. She's only 20 years old.
Well, and she works within that amazing Russian machine who, like the American machine, produces enormous numbers of talent. She has been in the shadows of former world champion Maria Butarskaya and now Irina Slutskaya. So it's hard to make a move. And without the wins, maybe she thinks she's not a winner.
But she is coming off a win at Cup of Russia.
And what a place to do it. Her family was all there. She was in her homeland. Absolutely thrilling. Now watch the technique coming in to this triple Lutz. Huge!
Wow.
Ah, but a turn to step into the required second jump. Another powerful one with the triple flip. Is that not beautiful? So high in the air, it's like she floats. There's some warmth coming into the program, too. She's been kind of dubbed the Ice Queen, you know, as if she is aloof. But I think it's shyness. Very fast layback spin, not the quality position of a Cohen. Lots of fast turns, good ice coverage on the footwork. Traveling happening in the combination spin. The skaters should be doing those repeating circles all in one spot.
But those jumps were very high, very powerful, and it's obvious that Victoria Volchkova has entered this new season with more confidence, especially after a win.
She gets better and better with every event.
Her marks at the Sears Figure Skating Open on CTV in a moment. Very strong start. Perhaps ran out of a little gas at the end and traveled a bit on that spin, as you mentioned, Debbie Wilkes. But Victoria Volchkova has to be pleased over the last month, because this is a skater that we haven't seen before. Someone standing up through an entire performance and, of course, soaring high.
The only problem was the turns, the 3 turns between the 2 jumps. She will take a 0.1 off for that mistake. But she continued with vibrant skating, good speed, good power. The footwork section, although not particularly original, had tremendous ice coverage, and you see her ability to use the edges to keep the speed moving.
Like so many of the Russian skaters, has moved to North America to train, to Chicago with Oleg Vasiliev, the former great skater, with Elena Valova,
Olympic champion.
And
The marks for Victoria Volchkova for required.
it was really a culture shock moving from Russia to Chicago in the first couple of weeks. She didn't know what to do, and
I think all she did was cry. She said.
ended up now living with a Russian family, making the transition a little bit better. And the transition so far,
5-5.
skating-wise, has been
5-7.
great.
5-4. 5-6.
Marks are very strong. Volchkova in second place. And let's go down to Dave Randorf.
With Jennifer Robinson, and I'll ask you right off the bat, how did you feel out there in your short program?
I I think tonight's short program, in comparison to the rest of the events that I did at the Grand Prix Series, was a lot more comfortable. It was not my best performance, with the mistake being on the triple Lutz and on the double toe. I'm having real problems with that double toe this year. And the Lutz being my best jump, it's a bit frustrating. So I think the comfort level was important in front of a Canadian audience before our national championships. That's something to really gauge, and just have to clean up my feet on the combination jump, and I think the rest will be great.
Yeah, Canadians are right around the corner. You mentioned the Grand Prix, and I'll ask you, you didn't qualify for the Grand Prix final, one of your goals. So how would you characterize, I guess, your performance on the Grand Prix circuit this season?
I was very pleased with how I performed the Grand Prix Series on the circuit. Skate Canada was a really great event for me. I was a little disappointed with where I finished, and Bofrost Cup, I was disappointed with how I skated in the long program, but I finished 4th in both events and had different reactions to my skate at both competitions. So I didn't make the Grand Prix Series final, but I was very pleased with how I performed. I just have to do even more to get there, and it's, you know, it's a battle, and I was happy to be higher than I've ever been on the list, but, you know, I think that if I put it all together, I can definitely be there.
Well, we'll look forward to Saskatoon, but in the meantime, before that, good luck in the long program here tonight.
Great. Thank you very much.
Next competitor from the United States, Jennifer Kerr.
Final skater of the women's short program, another Jennifer Kirk of the United States. Former World Junior Champion. A couple of years ago, at that same World Junior Championship, Sasha Cohen was 6th.
Take a look at the top of her right boot. She's wearing just a little band. Following Skate America and Skate Canada, she had what she calls a bursitis on the front of her shin, right where the tongue of her boot hits her leg. Quite a nasty, painful injury. Triple Lutzes are the big ones, eh?
Going her way right now, and I wonder if that injury is affecting those jumps.
She did take some time off.
She was landing those like butter early in the season.
Looks to me today like she's just rushing. There is a perfect timing for when a jump suddenly becomes easy. You have to think your way through it. It's not going to happen. Feel it. Here's the double axel. There we go.
What's that old saying? You gotta do the jumps.
Don't leave home without them.
And Jenny Kirk will be 4th or 5th. Marks near Angela Nikodinov, likely. We'll find out in a moment. Hey.
It's disappointing, though. She came out and she had that wonderful fire. She has a style that is so light and feathery on the ice. But the jumps just, ugh. It was like she collapsed. She has exquisite poise, lovely flow, tremendous presentation. But coming into the double axel, which was the only clean jump she had in the program, it was already too late.
Like so many of the young American skaters, began her athletic career as a gymnast. And I think that's one of the things that the American program has done over the years. They've taken gymnasts and turned them into skaters.
It's a great combination because of the flexibility that gymnasts must have, and a kind of a fearlessness about jumping or falling or twisting.
Is that something that we can take in Canada perhaps and start looking at gymnastics? Because we really in Canada don't have a huge gymnastics program.
Well, it's certainly worth thinking about. It's certainly worth thinking about. You get the right kind of bodies.
In first place for the United States, Sasha Cohen.
Jenny Kirk is fifth, Angela Nikodinov fourth. Sasha Cohen, no surprise, is the leader. Victoria Volchkova is second, Jennifer Robinson of Canada third.
So it looks like the 5.7s were the top marks of the day.
And here's Dave Randorf.
And I'm with Sasha Cohen, who right now is the overall Grand Prix points leader in the women's category, which for the moment makes you the top ladies figure skater in the world, and you must like the sounds of that.
Definitely, yeah, sounds good, and, you know, hopefully I can kind of make that, you know, a reality in March for Worlds.
Yeah, I know there's still a couple of big competitions to come before that, including the Grand Prix final. I know you're a very focused competitor, but at an event like this, is the pressure off just a little bit even for you, or is this like all the others?
Yeah, for me the pressure's off, and it's just kind of a chance for me to enjoy myself and, you know, put out some new programs for the crowd, and I'm really looking forward to the interpretive tomorrow.
We've had a fabulous season so far today. Good luck in the long program tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, the pressure's on everybody else, though. They've got to catch Sasha Cohen. Hard to do. Leader after the short program. And up next, the skating story of 2002. Debbie Wilkes sits down with the Olympic champions, Sally and Pelche.